SSW orientation. I hope that you are feeling like you're in the right place. I see that we have 42 participants on the call so far, so that's great. I imagine we will have some more people joining us as we begin. So my name is Dr. Diane Mitschke, and I am the Director of Graduate Programs here at UTA in the School of Social Work. And I am thrilled that you have decided to join us to pursue your MSW. I want to just give you a few reminders, kind of technical reminders as we start the call. All of you should have your microphones muted. The way to do that is by looking at the bottom of your screen, and you'll see there's an option there. There's a little picture of a microphone, and you just want to hit mute so that everyone can hear well on the call. And then if you would also make sure that you are not broadcasting yourself. So if you'll hit stop video to make sure that it's just your name that appears. Not that we don't all want to see your faces, but I've found that if you turn off your video, we tend to have better connection speeds. So there's not as much of a delay from when you're hearing my voice and I'm actually speaking. So if you could help me out with that, that would be great. I will also ask you to save your questions, if you would, until the end. We will have an ability for everyone to ask any question that they have as I'm going through the information. If there's something that comes up for you, you can ask a question using the chat option, which is at the again, on the bottom menu of your screen. You should see a little talking bubble that says chat. So if you could go ahead and click on that and maybe type a hello or something like that to let me know that you are hearing me and that you understand how to use that chat feature, that'd be great. Oh, good. Lots and lots of people are saying hello. Perfect. Okay, good. So it sounds like we have a pretty good connection. Again, if you will do me a favor and save your questions until the end, unless it's something like super pressing, that would be really helpful and would keep us on track. And then I promise that there will be time at the end to answer any questions that come up. Let's see. What else do I want to say? I think that that's pretty much it. This session is being recorded, so if you miss something or if you have to leave because of something halfway through, you will have access to the recording of the entire session. So do not fret about that. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers it. We're going to go ahead and get started. I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to go through, and after I do that, like I said, we'll open the floor up for questions. And the purpose of this meeting is really to get you comfortable with beginning the program, to familiarize yourself with kind of what you can expect, and to share with you some of the resources that we have in place so that you can be successful. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start the PowerPoint presentation. So let's see here. Okay, so you should now all be seeing the PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to just go ahead and get started. So this is the MSW online cohort orientation. All of you in this session should be direct practice in mental health and substance abuse. If that doesn't sound right, send me a message privately so that we can make sure that you're in the right place. But but that should be the cohort that you have chosen. We actually have 3 different cohorts represented, but all of you are mental health and substance abuse, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. So you've all chosen direct practice, which is what we think of when we think of traditional micro-level social work practice. And you've chosen to focus on the mental health and well-being of individual clients, as well as learning about addiction and substance abuse treatment. So you'll see in the classes that you'll take that we are really helping you to develop some expertise in understanding how to diagnose and treat mental illness. You'll focus quite a bit in your curriculum on understanding the DSM-5. You'll learn about different diagnostic codes. You'll learn how to bill for mental health treatment. You'll also learn about substance abuse and addiction issues, and will be able to, again, diagnose and treat individuals who are having addiction issues. So this is a broad specialty in the sense that no matter what the population is that you are interested in focusing on, whether it's children, whether it's young adults, adults, older adults, people dealing with substance abuse issues, you're going to get content across the life course in this particular specialty, which I think is a really good thing because it really prepares you for practice in a variety of different kinds of settings. Most of the students that choose this specialty are interested in doing, like I said, mental health treatment. Many students are interested in working in an inpatient or outpatient mental health facility, which is great. I will say also that most of you who are focusing on this specialty, I know that many of you are probably interested in going ahead and pursuing your LCSW eventually, kind of that next level of licensure so that you can practice independently. So this is a great specialty for that. Okay, so moving on then, I want to make sure, again, I mentioned that you are all supposed to be direct practice in mental health and substance abuse if you're in this orientation. I will also say that all of you should have advanced standing or have finished all of your foundation curriculum. So I would say the majority of you are probably coming into this orientation with advanced standing, meaning that you got your BSW in social work in the last 6 years and you're ready to start your master's program. We do have a few students who are coming in as traditional students, but having finished their foundation curriculum and are now joining the cohort. This is an online-only cohort, so all of your courses will be online. There will never be a situation where you will be forced to come to campus. You can do all of your learning in your own geographic location, wherever you are located. You will have an internship, which we'll talk about later, and that, of course, cannot be done from your home, but it will be able to be finished in the geographic vicinity of where you're living. Just as a reminder, please make sure that your microphone is muted. I know I can hear a little bit of feedback, so just go ahead and make sure your microphone's muted to make sure that everyone can hear well. So in terms of the folks who are in this orientation right now, this should describe all of you. So either you have chosen our 12-month accelerated advanced standing program, which means that you'll start now and you'll finish in August of 2020, so 1 year later. You we also have students in the room, figuratively speaking, that are in our 16-month program. So that means that you're starting now and you will be finishing in December of 2020. I see that Vivian is saying that she does not have volume on her video screen. Vivian, I would suggest that you perhaps see if you can plug in some earphones, or make sure that you've selected computer audio. If you go back to the invitation, there's also a phone number that you can call so that you can connect to the audio for this conference by phone if your computer audio is not working. So, okay, so back to the third option, which is our part-time program, which is a 24-month program, which means that you would start now and finish in 24 months or in August of 2021. So you should be in one of those 3 degree plans. And we're going to make sure that you're familiar with what you have selected. So if you've chosen our Accelerated Advanced Standing program, which is the program that's the 12-month program, that means that you'll be going full-time. You can see this is your degree plan. This should look very familiar to you because it was shared by your advisor, if you've met with your advisor. So essentially, you'll be starting here in the next couple of weeks, and you'll be taking 8-week courses. You'll take 2 8-weeks courses in the first 8 weeks of the semester, and then you'll take 2 different 8-week courses in the second half of the semester. And then throughout the entire 16-week semester, you'll take a research course. So your first semester is pretty heavy. You're going to hit the ground running. And then after this first semester, you'll back off a little bit with the intensity of your courses. But we've front-loaded the work in your particular cohort because we want you to get through with the hard stuff first while you're super motivated, and then once you start your field placement, you won't have as many courses to take. So this is your degree plan. Our next cohort will be taking which is the 16-month online program. So your classes are not 8 weeks. They are the traditional 16-week classes. And this fall semester, you'll be taking 3 classes to get you into the specialty. And that is also full-time, but 9 credit hours as opposed to the 15 that the accelerated advanced standing students will be taking. And then our part-time cohort, which is our 2-year cohort, will start this fall semester taking 2 courses or 6 credits. Advanced micropractice and direct practice in mental health. So just to give you an idea of the curriculum itself, I just want to briefly go over, since the courses are essentially the same across the cohorts, wanted to give you an idea of what you can expect in your courses. So in advanced micropractice, which is essentially the first class that all of you will take, that's our introduction to advanced coursework. And in that class, you're going to really build on the generalist social work skills you learned in your foundation or BSW curriculum. You're going to learn kind of higher level skills related to engagement and intervention. And then in your direct practice and mental health class, this is really the core introduction to your mental health specialty. And so in this class, you're going to be focused on learning about specific mental health treatment options. And then you'll be able to really build on diagnostic criteria and prepare you kind of for entry into the field. So so then moving on, you'll take an advanced research class. I recognize that that we're all looking at the part-time curriculum, but know that this curriculum is similar across all 3 cohorts. So that's why I'm just focusing on this one right now. Research and Evaluation 2 is going to give you advanced research skills related to program evaluation and also the evaluation of your own practice, so that you'll be able to know whether the interventions that you're using with your clients are actually working and making a difference. You'll take a brain and behavior class. Brain and behavior and the stress crisis and coping class, which is a little bit further down, are 2 integrated theory and practice classes. And so those classes are going to teach you about how to apply specific social work theories to understanding the way that our clients behave and the choices they make, and then in turn help us understand how to choose interventions that fit with the types of problems that our specific clients are experiencing. You'll take a mental health policy class. This class will obviously focus on domestic mental health policy. You'll learn kind of the ins and outs of how people access mental health care and how to advocate for additional mental health services for clients. You'll take a treatment of children and adolescents class, which focuses specifically on the mental health needs of youth, and learn about specific interventions designed to treat youth who are facing either mental health or substance use issues. All of you will do a field placement, which I'll talk a little bit about later. Then finally, you'll do a group dynamics class, and this class will focus on group level interventions for mental health clients. And then you'll finish the program with a class called Integrative Seminar, which is our capstone class. This is a class where you're really bringing together all of the information that you learned in your previous classes and writing a comprehensive case study. There is an alternative to Integrative Seminar, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and that is writing a thesis. So students can choose the option of writing a thesis as opposed to completing Integrative Seminar. That's your choice, and if you're interested in that, again, I'll talk a little bit about it later, and then you can reach out to me, and we can talk more about what that might look like. So that's kind of an overview of what to expect in terms of the curriculum. I want to introduce you then to the school and some of the resources that we have available to you. I know that you're online students, but I also know that many of you live not too far from the DFW Metroplex. And so I would invite you, if you are ever in the area, please come stop by. This is a picture of our Arlington campus. We are located on the north end of campus, in the heart of Arlington. And our administrative team is led by our dean, Dr. Scott Ryan, and our associate dean, Dr. Deborah Woody. And I introduced myself earlier. I am Dr. Diane Mitchke, and I am the director of graduate programs here in the school. I would encourage you as you begin the program to really get connected. I know some of you have finished our bachelor's program here at UTA, and so you may already be familiar with our involvement in social media. But if you have not taken advantage of liking us on your various platforms, I would encourage you to connect with the school. We post lots of great information about things going on at the school, about research opportunities, and about scholarships. So I would just encourage you to do that. We're active on all of these different social media outlets. And if you want the direct link to them, you can get to them by going to the School of Social Work homepage and scrolling to the bottom, and then you can direct link from each of our social media platforms. I'd also encourage you to download the UTA mobile app. It's a free app that you can download to your smartphone. The university posts lots of information about things going on at the university. Also, events and research studies going on. It's just a good way to kind of stay connected and know what's going on at your university. So I would encourage you to do that. All right, so I think you've made a great choice. Obviously, I'm a little biased as director of the program, but I will say that I have actually been on faculty here at UTA since 2006. So let's see, that's 13 years. And I really like what we have here. I think that the UTA is an excellent university. It's one of the most diverse universities in the country. And I think that really lends itself well to what we study in social work in terms of you really having a very broad reaching educational experience. You're learning from diverse students. You're learning from students who are diverse in terms of age, in terms of ethnicity and religion. And I think that all of those things really contribute to having a really comprehensive, excellent preparation for social work practice. We're an affordable program. We're ranked number 22 in the country for most affordable MSW programs. We really like our veterans here at UTA. We're ranked number 1 in Texas for veteran friendliness. We have a number of veterans here in the School of Social Work and have a number of programs that are available to veterans. We also are ranked number 3 among MSW programs by graduateprograms.com, and this is actually specific to our online programs, which you'll be a part of. And so we're really proud of the fact that our online programs are really ranked so highly, and we work really hard to make sure that the quality of the education that you receive in the online program is comparable and equals that of the education that students in face-to-face classrooms receive. So welcome to graduate school. What a great choice you've made. I think that getting your MSW is an excellent step forward career-wise in terms of opening up opportunities for you to engage in specialized social work practice. I think that choosing our program specifically will make you very competitive in the job market because we are able to offer a specialty in terms of focus on mental health and addiction studies. And I think that that will really kind of give you an advantage when you think about competing for jobs on the open market when we're looking at MSWs. So I'm not going to lie, graduate school is certainly different than undergraduate education in the sense that the expectations are raised. But at the same time, I think that you've now found your passion in choosing social work, and I think that what you'll find is that all of the classes that you take will hold your interest because they're all focused on really helping you to develop a high level of expertise in mental health and substance abuse treatment. So even though it'll be a lot of work, I think the payoff will really be great and you'll enjoy the learning experience. We have a number of support services that are in place for online students. First, and most importantly, the Office of Advising and Student Success, which is led by Ms. Patrice Green. She's the coordinator of that office. And really the goals of the Office of Advising and Student Success are to help students reach their graduation goals. We want every single one of our students that starts with us to finish with us, and we want you to be successful. And so whatever we need to do as a school to help support you in your academic journey, we're going to try and do to help you be successful in graduating. Her office provides professional and academic advising. So all of the advisors are master's level social workers who all have experience and practice. They can provide career counseling. They can also connect you to resources on the larger campus and provide referrals to other services should you need them. We also have some writing resources available to you in terms of online tutorial sessions and recorded webinars that should help you. They're designed to match all of the assignments that we have within our curriculum. And so we have special webinars that are designed specifically to suit a particular assignment in any class that you are given. This is their phone number. You can also reach them, of course, by email. You all, I hope, have already been in contact with your academic advisor. I assume that all of you are registered for your courses. If you're not registered for your courses, you need to go ahead and reach out to your academic advisor so that they can help you register. Our advisors at the MSW level are broken up by last name, and the reason for that is that we want to make sure that we have distributed our students in a way that every advisor is able to accommodate all of the students that are within their list. So even though it seems like maybe the alphabet letters don't seem to be broken down quite evenly, we've looked at all of the last names of all of our students, and this makes the most sense in terms of most common last names. So you should see your advisor listed, and you can reach out to them directly via email. You can also go on to the School of Social Work's website, and you can make an appointment under advising. If you want to go and make an appointment and look at your advisor's calendar, you can do that there. There are a number of university resources that are also available to online social work students. You've already, I'm sure, familiarized yourself with the UT Arlington main homepage. There's tons of resources there, and what I would encourage you to do is, if you ever are looking for something or are not sure where something is, if you will just type in the search bar in the top right hand corner, you should be able to find anything you're looking for using that search bar. I've used it multiple times a day, and I found it to be very helpful. But if you're interested in finding out, when the semester starts and ends, the university publishes an academic calendar 3 years out. So you'll be able to say, you know what, I know exactly when my last day of class will be for, my final semester in my master's program. If you want to know that today, you can know that today. Lots of other information there at your fingertips. We also have a School of Social Work webpage that I'm sure you've also already accessed. From here, you can download the MSW program manual. You can also get information about field in terms of common placement opportunities and the field calendar. We also post information here about scholarships when they become available, and contact information for faculty and staff. Within our website, we also have a career development center, so we post job announcements. Many of the job announcements that we post do not require you to be a local DFW resident. Some of the announcements that we have are available to distance students, and even are opportunities to work with faculty on research projects from a distance, doing research. The student affairs portion of the UTA website is important because this is where you will go if you have been diagnosed with a disability or a learning disorder. And if that applies to you, I would encourage you to go ahead and get registered with the Office for Students with Disabilities. That way, you can make sure that the university knows about the accommodations that you might need, and whether or not you access those accommodations is up to you. But having that information on file as you go into the semester can be really useful, and it can prevent a lot of headaches if you recognize you need an accommodation later on after the semester's already started. So I would encourage you to reach out there. Some other just connections in terms of resources: the UTA bookstore is available if you are wanting to figure out what books you'll need for your classes. You can access that information there from the bookstore. You don't have to purchase your books there, but you can, or you can just look up the books you need and then purchase them wherever you want to purchase them. Also, the Office of Information and Technology is kind of your go-to place for if you have any problems with getting access to your email, figuring out how to get your email onto your smartphone. We also have a lot of free software that's available to students, and very discounted software. So if you don't have, like, for example, the Microsoft Office package, you can get it for very cheaply through our Office of Information Technology. So I would encourage you to kind of explore what they have to offer as well. In terms of finding your textbooks, it's pretty simple. You'll go to the uta.eda bookstore website, and you'll simply click on books. You'll be able to enter the term that you are starting. So you'll select fall of 2019. You can enter your student ID number, which is that 1000 number you were given when you were admitted to the program. You can also search. If you don't have your ID number, you can also look for a particular class, and it will generate the textbooks that you need that are required and recommended for your particular class. So super easy way to do that. Like I said, you don't have to buy them from the bookstore if you don't want to. You can just look up the books and then find them on Amazon or some other textbook selling website, whatever works best for you. Okay. So for those of you who got your undergraduate degree here at UTA, you may know or not know, I'm not sure, that we are now shifted completely to Canvas. We used to use Blackboard as our classroom management tool, and now we're switching to Canvas. We taught all of our classes in Canvas in the summer semester, and now the entire university is switching to Canvas for the fall. If you're not yet familiar with Canvas, there's a lot of different resources that you can access to familiarize yourself with Canvas beforehand. So I'm going to see if I can show you what those are. This is the Canvas training guide for students that is available on the UTA website. And you can see that there are lots of different options in terms of short tutorials. There are video tutorials about how to log into Canvas and update your profile. There's a short video tutorial about, an overview of Canvas itself. And then specific tasks within Canvas. So learning how to view your grades, how to contact your instructors, really all of it is here at your fingertips. I would also really strongly encourage all of you to download the Canvas student mobile app onto your smartphone. I think that if you haven't used Canvas before, you will find it incredibly useful and user-friendly. You can actually do basically everything you need to do within your class from your smartphone. So you can post to discussion board threads, you can upload assignments, you can record videos and post them. So lots and lots of capabilities within the student mobile app. And the students that I have had this summer have really appreciated those tools within the app in terms of facilitating their course and their ability to participate in the course. So that's kind of the training information for Canvas. I wanted to show you kind of what an example course looks like. So I set this course up to show you what a typical social work course will probably look like for you this fall. You can see that this course that I've listed is diverse populations, which is actually a foundation course. But you can see the way that Canvas is set up. There's a menu on the left-hand side of the page that you can use to navigate through the course. This screen that you're seeing now is typically what you would see as you log into a course. I should actually turn this to student view so you don't see anything else that you know a faculty member sees. So this is actually what you would see as a student. And so you would navigate through the course either by clicking in the middle on, for example, modules, or you can do that on the left-hand side of your screen as well. And modules are the way that you navigate through your course. So you can see that these are essentially folders, and each one of them contains information about your course. So you may see videos, you may see a short description, and that sort of thing. I see that I'm getting a lot of chats. Uh-oh, some of you are saying you can't see it. Okay, we may have a little bit of a delay. Okay, so I'm just gonna wait for a second and see if it comes up for you. Okay. No, I see lots of you are posting that you can't see the screen. I'm thinking the reason you can't see the screen is probably because I'm going too fast and the bandwidth is not appreciating it. Okay, so let me see if I can do something to fix this. Bear with me for a second. Let's see. I think, hold on. Okay, so let me see. Okay, let me see if I can share just that screen. Sorry, bear with me, y'all. Okay, so I'm wondering if maybe you can see it now. Can somebody share with me whether or not they can see it? Let's see. Sorry. Okay, you see it now. Okay, so good. So essentially, I'll go back and say that I was trying to share with you that Canvas basically is designed around modules. And so the modules act kind of like folders, and that's how you get the information that you need. So essentially, each module represents a week in the semester. And so within each module, you'll have different items that you can choose, and typically they will follow a similar pattern. Well, you'll get an introduction to that particular module. You'll also get, you know, kind of an overview of what the expectations are for that particular week. In my classes, I do a short video overview, and then you can navigate through the modules either by clicking next at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, or you can go back to that module menu. So it's really kind of up to you. So if you've used Blackboard before, it's not terribly different from Blackboard. I think it takes a little bit of getting used to, but I found that most people think that it is actually much more user-friendly and intuitive. So that's kind of how Canvas will work for you. You'll be able to access your grades through Canvas, just like you did through Blackboard, if you're familiar with Blackboard. One of the best things about Canvas is the help options that you have. So if you click on the question mark at the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see that there are a number of different options for you in terms of getting help. There's actually a phone number that you can call, a student support hotline. You can also live chat to get your questions answered. And then they have both Canvas guides online as well as an Ask the Community feature, all of which I found to be really helpful in getting the questions that I have answered when it comes to Canvas. So I think you'll really like Canvas. I don't find it very difficult to use, and I think that once you get used to it, it will be familiar. So with that said, I also want to, I also want to share with you one more thing, which is the Student Success and Advising Canvas course. And so the way that I want to do that is sorry, I kind of have to navigate through these different windows to make sure you can see them. Okay, so I am going to share this course with you. Let's see, where is it? Here. So all of you, as you are added to the listserv, have also been added to a Canvas course called the School of Social Work Student Success and Advising Office. And this is a Canvas course that we've developed that we've tried to put a lot of different resources here so that you can kind of access them all at your fingertips. If you don't have access to this yet, you will. We add students to it weekly, and so if you haven't been added yet, you will be added before the semester begins. But within this resource, you'll have links to your MSW advisors as well as your degree plan. You'll also be able to access links to the various writing resources that we have available to you. I was talking a little bit earlier about that. There's a link to information about scholarships, and we should be putting out a call for scholarship applications relatively soon. I would say probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks for fall scholarships. So you'll have the opportunity to apply for those. There's information about our student organizations as well as information about our library resources. So if you are having trouble finding information that you need, I would encourage you to try this as a resource, because I think that many students are finding that it's pretty helpful in getting some of those questions that we typically get about, the program generally and registration and those kinds of things. So you can see that we're continually adding to it. Okay, so that is Canvas kind of in a nutshell. And now I would like to go back and share with you, let's go back to our PowerPoint slides. So, Okay, so hopefully now you are seeing our PowerPoint slides again. Um, I would just encourage you to check your student email. If you have not yet downloaded your email to your smartphone, please go ahead and do that. It's really important because that's the way that we communicate most with you about urgent messages and registration deadlines and things like that. You're automatically enrolled in the MSW listserv, so you don't have to worry about that. You'll be automatically getting messages that way. Okay, I want to talk some about field education because I know that that's something that I typically get a lot of questions about. So most of you, because you have advanced standing, have already completed a field placement, and so you're kind of familiar with how that might work. But I do want to review kind of how it will work for your advanced placement, your advanced standing placement. So we consider field to be really one of the most critical parts of your MSW journey, because this is an opportunity for you to really get hands-on experience, testing out some of the theories that you've learned in the classroom and seeing how you can apply those under the direction of, an expert practitioner. And so really, I think that we are lucky in the field of social work in that we really get to try some of these things out before you're thrown into, a job where you're testing things out for the first time. So really a unique opportunity in our field to do that. We have an assistant dean of field education. She's in charge of our field office. Her name is Dr. Donetta Smith, and an administrative assistant, Andron Williams, who can answer, your general questions about field and direct you to the person you may need to get a hold of. And she has her phone number and email address listed there. Your field advisor is one of our newest MSW field advisors. We're really pleased to welcome Hector Ramos, and he will be your go-to person in terms of selecting and managing your advanced field placement. He works with all of our advanced mental health and substance abuse students. Our field students are really focused on developing competency across all of our main student learning outcomes. And so this is something that's common across all schools of social work in the country. We are accredited by the Council on Social Work Education. And the Council on Social Work Education says that at a minimum, MSW students at the advanced level must be proficient across all of these 9 areas of competency. And so your field placement will focus on helping you to develop competence and expertise across these different areas in a very strategic and purposeful way, ensuring that everything you do in your field placement connects to one of these competencies. In terms of planning for field, it's important, regardless of which cohort you're in, whether you're starting your field placement in the spring or whether you won't start it until the summer or even next fall, it's important that you start thinking about it now, because field is a major demand on your time. And I know that for many of you, you're working full-time or part-time. You're also managing the demands of family, caring for others, all of your other responsibilities. And field's going to be a burden in terms of trying to figure out how to manage your time and get your hours in. You need to know that night and weekend field placements are extremely limited. And so it's important for you, as you're thinking about your schedule and how you'll make a placement work, to think about whether there are ways that you can flex your time at your job, whether there are ways that you can, save up some vacation. Most students that are able to be successful in field while working full-time are successful because they've planned early and they've talked with their supervisors early before they are ready to enter field and try to come up with creative ways to get in their hours, both at their place of employment as well as in their field placement. On the field website, there is a link to a Plan Now time management activity. It kind of walks you through the steps that you might consider as you're thinking about how you will balance the time required for your field. And I have the link to that here, but again, it's available also on the website. In order to be successful in field, you've got to check your MAVS email often, because this is where you're going to receive messages about deadlines for field placements, applications, and start and end dates of your field internship semester. And so this is really the only way that the field office will communicate with you. So it's important you're checking that email often. One thing that's really important to remember also is that in graduate school, you have to have a 3.0 to remain in good standing as a graduate student. If your GPA falls below a 3.0, you will be considered on academic probation. And in general, when you're on academic probation, you have 1 semester to bring your GPA up over a 3.0, or you will be dismissed from the program. Once you're dismissed from the program, you'll have to file an appeal or a petition to be readmitted to the program. So we don't want any of you to get to that point. If you find yourself struggling in a class, please reach out to your instructor, to your advisor, to me, and we will help get you the support you need so that you can get back on track. But in terms of field specifically, you have to have a 3.0 or better to go into your first field placement. So those of you who are going to be entering field in the spring semester, this coming spring semester, obviously you won't have a GPA yet because you won't be finished with the fall semester by the time you're applying for spring placements. But know that if your GPA falls below a 3.0 after the fall semester, you will not be able to enter field with your cohort. And so that's just a really important thing to keep in mind throughout the program. In terms of being ready for your advanced MSW placement, all of you have advanced standing status, but you will need to finish Social Work 5311 and Social Work 5336, which is direct practice in mental health. Your cohort degree plans are designed with this in mind, so really you never have to worry about that. As long as you stay with your cohort, you're going to be on track to enter field, just like your degree plan specifies. In terms of your hours in field, you can do a split placement, which is what most of our students do, and that would be 2 consecutive semesters of your field placement. You'll be at the same agency for both semesters. So you'll do 240 hours in one semester and 240 hours in the next semester. This is called a split placement. So you'll have a total of 480 hours once you're finished. This comes out to about 16 hours a week in field for 2 semesters. You also have the option of doing a block placement. A block placement allows you to complete a minimum of 480 hours in one semester. Most students do not choose this approach because it is extremely intense. It requires about 32 hours a week in your placement, and know that you will also be taking courses at the same time as doing your placement. So it makes it quite difficult to complete a block placement while also doing your coursework. There is actually a new application process for Field, and we actually just purchased a new software program that's going to help us manage Field applications better this fall. Um, it is called In Place instead of Sonia, which is our previous program. And I don't have the information about specific to In Place right now. We're actually doing training on it all this week. And we will be sending information out to the listserv when it's time for your applications to come in. If you are ready, if you are planning on doing a spring field placement according to your degree plan, you should expect to receive emails early in September with information about how to apply for your spring placements. So don't stress about that now, you're good. One thing that will be a piece of applying for Field is that you will purchase liability insurance. We have some links to where to purchase liability insurance on our website. Typically, the cost is between $30 and $50, and it lasts for a year. So you don't want to buy your liability insurance until you're ready to start applying for your field placement. So there's no need to go out and buy it right now because it is only good for a year. So you want to make sure it covers you for your entire placement. Because you're online students, if you are outside of the Metroplex, we have kind of a different process. So we have two different processes. So if you are, I'll talk first about if you are outside of the DFW Metroplex. If you're outside of the Metroplex, we have a number of placements that we have established relationships with, especially in the larger cities in Texas. Certainly we have placements in Houston, San Antonio, and Austin, El Paso, Lubbock, Amarillo, and Waco. We have, I mean, I can't list them all, but we do have a number of established placements. And when you're working with your field advisor to look at potential placements, they will be able to share with you a list of the placements that we've already established in your area. However, you also have the opportunity to establish your own placement. So, and we have instructions for that also on our field website. But if you know of an agency in your area that that is a mental health type placement and has an MSW on staff there that would be willing to supervise you in a mental health placement, you can actually approach them and establish that placement yourself. We have the paperwork available on the website to establish that affiliation agreement. And your field advisor can work closely with you. Hector can work with you to make sure that you have everything covered so that you'll be able to start a placement really in a place that you'd like to go. So you really have that option available to you if you're an online student out of the area. For those of you who are in the DFW Metroplex, we have a process in place where we can match you with a number of placements that we have in the DFW area. We have over 700 agencies that are affiliated with us. Certainly not all of them are mental health placements, but we do have a good variety of mental health placements. So when you do your application for your field placement, if you you'll tell us kind of geographically in the Metroplex where you want to be and what area you'd like to specialize in, and then we actually are able to match you with an established agency. So the process is a little bit different, but the ultimate result is the same. And like I said, Hector Ramos, your field advisor, can really walk you through that process regardless of whether you're out of the DFW area or whether you're here locally. I do want to point out that if you are going to a hospital placement, either, a mental health unit of an acute care hospital or an inpatient hospital, mental health hospital, you should know that there are some additional requirements that most of these hospitals are asking for. And so typically, they're requiring you to do a 10-panel drug test, show proof of a criminal background test, and a negative TB skin test. You'll have to provide a list of your immunizations. Some of them require a CPR class. Most of them require you to have a copy of your driver's license. So obviously, depending on which agency you're matched with, there will be variety in terms of the things that you apply. That they require, but just know that because you are mental health, and you'll be in a mental health placement, these extra requirements may be a reality for you as you begin thinking about your field placement. So if there's some of this stuff you can do ahead of time, for example, figuring out what immunizations you've had and see if you can come across the list of your shot record, that would be really useful. Okay, so you will also be assigned a field liaison, and this is a person who works for UTA, whose job it is to kind of serve as your advocate and as a mediator between you and your agency. So this is the person that will meet with you and your field instructor at midterm and review the midterm evaluation that your field instructor has done of you. And then this is also kind of a resource person for you. So if you are experiencing issues with your field instructor or your placement, your liaison is really your advocate. It's the go-to person for you in terms of accessing resources to help you with your placement. So your field instructor is the person at your agency. That's obviously the person you'll go to first if you have a problem at your placement. If you can't resolve it there, then you'll reach out to your liaison. After that, you can reach out to your field advisor if there's a conflict that still can't be resolved. And then finally, conflicts that are unresolvable at that point go to our Assistant Dean of Field Education, Dr. Smith. So throughout your stay in the MSW program, we ask that you abide by the NASW and the state of Texas codes of ethics for social workers, that you are open to receiving feedback from your field instructors, but this also applies, of course, to your classroom instructors. This is really a time for growth and learning as you embark on your graduate education, and I would just encourage you to really be open to learning, open yourself up to criticism, and really try to learn from all of the different folks who are a part of the program, whether that's, at your agency, whether that's your instructors in the classroom, or whether that's your peers in your cohort. Let's see. So important dates are listed on the field calendar, which is on the website. You should also know that we will host several field orientations for students online. These are available each semester, and information about them will be sent out through the listserv, of course. Okay, so I promise, thank you for bearing with me. We're almost getting close to being done. I wanted to talk just for a second about licensing, because I typically get a lot of questions about licensing and wanted to make sure you understood kind of where you sit with the MSW license. So when you graduate from our program, you will graduate with an MSW degree. About 2/3 of social work employers require a license, and the LMSW is the license that you can sit for right when you graduate with your MSW degree. Your LMSW is available right after you graduate. You take a test and show your transcript, and then you're eligible to take the exam you take it at a
Sorry.
local testing center,
I'm
and
like,
then
I'm gonna turn the
you
volume on.
license. Hey, just make sure that you are muted on your microphones because I'm hearing some feedback.
Because my back, it's
Oh,
nice.
let's see here. I can figure it
Yeah,
out.
my back is killing me.
Leanne, can you make sure you're muted here? There we go. I think we got it. Okay. So anyway, sorry about that. So your LCSW is the license that some of you may be interested in when you are actually when you finish your LMSW, sorry. So your LCSW is the licensed clinical social worker license, and it is really the next step toward private practice. So once you get your LMSW license, you can get a job that qualifies you for supervision in clinical social work. And so you, as mental health social workers, most of the jobs that you would be interested in would probably qualify for this clinical social work experience. And so you'll simply do that. You'll find a supervisor. You can either have a supervisor at your place of employment, or you can hire an external supervisor to meet with you for supervision. And then you will work toward getting 3,000 hours of supervised clinical social work experience, which is about 2 years of full-time employment. And then you can apply for the LCSW licensing test and then take it in the similar way. And then you are then eligible to independently practice, diagnose and treat mental illness, and also bill insurance companies for your services. Not everyone gets their LCSW. Actually, probably about a quarter of social workers of LMSWs decide to pursue the LCSW. And that's mostly because it depends on the setting that you're in and whether you really need that LCSW licensure or not. Some people are perfectly fine with their LMSW, and the position that they're in does not require them to have that additional clinical licensure. It's just an option for you if you choose to go that route. I mentioned earlier about research. We have a really active research agenda among our faculty. We have faculty, about 50 faculty members who are doing research in all different areas of social work. So I think that if there's an area of social work practice or research that you're interested in exploring more, there's probably a faculty member who would be thrilled to talk with you about your interest. As far as positions for MSW students, we do have graduate research assistantship positions, or GRA positions. These are positions where you are assigned to a faculty member to work with them on their funded research projects. And that position typically is a 10-hour-a-week position. Sometimes there are positions that are 20 hours a week as well. There'll be information both in the MSW newsletter and on the listserv that will provide application information for those funded assistantship type positions. There is also the option to complete a thesis while you're in the MSW program. A thesis allows you to really develop specialized research expertise on a particular topic of interest and to work closely with a faculty member to really explore an area at a deeper level than you might be able to within a classroom setting. This is an alternative to the integrative seminar, which is our capstone class that you take in your final semester. If you want to do a thesis, you need to let your advisor know. You can also reach out to me so that I can talk with you about some potential faculty that might match your area of interest so that you can kind of start that ball rolling. You must enroll in thesis for 2 semesters. So it's a 2-semester thesis course, though you don't actually need to meet weekly or anything with your faculty advisor. But that's kind of how thesis works. And I'm happy to talk with any of you more one-on-one about what it would look like to do a thesis and share with you some experiences that other MSW students have had in completing a thesis. I would simply ask that we maintain an attitude of professionalism throughout your tenure in the MSW program. Regardless of whether you are interacting with your peers in a classroom via, a live chat, or whether you're on a discussion board forum, or whether you're emailing your instructor, I would just encourage you to remember that you're developing skills as social workers, to be able to mediate conflict, to be able to respond to other individuals who are coming from different paradigms. Sometimes in social work, especially in your advanced classes, we talk about controversial topics. We may talk about topics that you have strong opinions on. They may be things that you disagree with your peers about or your instructor. And I would just ask that regardless of the way that you're communicating, that you do it in a professional way, and that you conduct yourself, using your professional judgment in your communication. So in terms of how to get connected, as online students, I think sometimes you may feel like it's more difficult to feel connected to the physical university. And I want to offer you some different options for really how to engage and feel like you're a maverick. So we have a huge online program. We have just as many online students as we do face-to-face students. And so because of that, we're able to offer lots of different opportunities for online students to really get engaged with the social work maverick community. One of the ways to do that is by joining a student organization. You can see that we have tons of different student organizations that are available. These are all the ones we have on the books right now. Our newest one is our environmental justice organization. It's just launching this fall. But we've got really organizations across all topic areas. If there's an area that you find yourself interested in, please reach out to your advisor or to me or to the student leader of that group so that you can get involved. All of these organizations have regular meetings that they broadcast live for our online community. Many of the leaders themselves are online students that have never set foot on campus. And so think about what leadership role you might want to take as you enter into the MSW program. So lots of opportunities for involvement and networking in that regard. We have a new program that we're launching this year. It's called the GSL program, our Graduate Student Leaders Program. We will be selecting one graduate student from to represent each cohort. And this graduate student leader, or GSL, will be responsible for advocating for the students' needs within their cohort. They will actively disseminate information to students in their cohort, and they will host meetings every other week that are virtual meetings with that are considered listening sessions with the students that they represent. So you'll have an opportunity at least twice a month to engage with your graduate student leader for your cohort, express any concerns or questions you have to them, and get your questions answered in a very personalized and individualized way. It's also a great way to kind of connect with your cohort every couple of weeks and just make sure that you guys are all doing okay and supporting one another. Graduate student leaders will also have a really active social media presence and will be student ambassadors for our MSW program. If you are interested in being a GSL or applying to be a GSL, you will receive, I'll be sending out some information about the application process. It's a pretty quick online application that you'll just complete a quick narrative talking about your leadership skills and your commitment to social work and UTA. I'm looking for people who are active on social media, and I'm looking for people who are ready to really engage with students that share their similar interests and kind of help me facilitate communication between you and your cohort. So if that's something that you're interested in, please feel free to reach out to me individually, and I can talk with you more about this opportunity, or just look for the application information that will be coming out soon. For those of you who are not interested in, applying to be a GSL, but are interested in some of the services that they'll be providing, I think that this will be a really great opportunity for you to have an advocate, a designated advocate or point person that you can go to if you ever have questions that you need answered, or just need someone to really advocate for some of the issues that you're seeing. And so I really see this as an important way to facilitate communication in the program. You can also communicate with the peers in your cohort through your own Microsoft Teams network. I am working with Ginger Jackson right now. She is our administrative assistant in the MSW program, to establish Microsoft Teams for each cohort. So you'll be receiving an invitation and information about how to use that particular type of networking. It's a program that is now offered for free through UTA, and it will allow you to be able to instant message your peers in your cohort, as well as ask questions to me and other support staff here at the university, so that we can really try and facilitate getting you quick answers to the questions that you have, and helping you feel like that you're connected with one another through the process. Finally, I already said participate in live online group sections. You'll be receiving information about when your cohort sessions will be occurring, and you can participate those whenever you want to, every time, or just when you have a question, that sort of thing. We'll be distributing a weekly online MSW newsletter that will contain information about job opportunities, reminders, scholarships. We'll highlight a student of the week each week, and so be looking for that. That will be sent out on the listserv, as well as on social media. So on Instagram and Facebook in particular, you'll be able to view our newsletter each week and see what's going on. And then finally, use these tools to reach out to others in your cohort and connect in real life. So many of you are local. You can meet up here locally in Arlington or DFW. Many of you are in other cities across Texas where it would be easy for you to, you know, meet up for a happy hour or coffee and really get to know each other in real life as well. So I would encourage you to do that as you get established in the MSW program. These are relationships and networks that will stay with you for the rest of your career. And so I think being able to really engage in that early on is a great idea. Finally, this is me, my contact information. That is not my picture actually, but but that is my email address. And then I mentioned Ginger Jackson, who you've been in communication with already in terms of getting you signed up for orientation and that sort of thing. So please reach out if you have other questions. And now I'm going to open it up to questions and answers. What I would like to do is have you continue to have your microphones muted and just go ahead and let you ask your questions via chat. I think that'll probably help everyone be able to hear better. I promise I will get to every question that is asked. So it looks like I have a question from Joanne. The degree that is signed by our advisor for the 12 months put group dynamics 53-57 in a 2-week winter session. Okay, so Joanne, if you, can you tell me which cohort you're in? Which one? Is it the 12-month or the 16-month or the 24-month? That would be helpful. The 12-month, okay. Okay, so I think I need to go back and look at that, Joanne. What I will do is, and certainly that's a relevant question for all of you, I need to see if I was using an outdated degree plan. So let me do that. Let me go back and do that after we get off the call. And then I will email all of you who are in the 12-month plan to let you know. I'll just send you a copy of your degree plan so you can make sure that you have the right one. So I will make a note of that to make sure that I do that. Sorry, I don't have that off the top of my head, and I don't want y'all to all have to wait for me to find it. Let's see, Erica says, will we be able to start the process and take the LMSW test when done with the field placement hours before graduation? So yes, actually you can, they will let you, the licensing board will let you apply to take the test as soon as you enter your final semester. So once you start your last semester in your MSW program, whenever that is, you can actually request from the advising office a letter that will be signed by the dean, and it will say that you are in your final semester and are getting ready to graduate with your MSW. That is the letter that you will send to the licensing board, and then they will allow you to sit for the exam early before you graduate so that potentially you would be able to graduate and then immediately get your license. So as you get closer to that, we typically will send out a message both to the listserv and in the newsletter that says, hey, if you're graduating this semester, you can request a letter. This is how to do it. So it's pretty simple and easy. Vivian says, well, I need to retake brain and behavior if my undergrad required it. So it will depend. I will need to look at your individual syllabus and see how close it is to our, our course. And if it's very close and I feel like it's comparable, I may let you waive brain and behavior and you can take a different course in its place. So that's a possibility. That's something that we can explore if you'll email me your syllabus. Let's see, Erica says, it's stated on the LMSW slide that we will be tested through Texas. What if we live in another state? We'll be able to take it in our home state to get licensed here. So great question. So there are a few of you that may be military connected, and so you live in another state. And if that's the case, What I can tell you is that we are preparing you for licensure in the state of Texas. That said, most other states have similar licensing requirements. And so depending on your state, you'll need to check with your licensing board, but for the most part, I can think of maybe one or two exceptions. Students are able to immediately take the licensing exam in their state and be licensed in that state. So I would suggest checking with your own state's licensing board if you're concerned about that. Let's see. During field placement, do we have to be supervised by an LMSW or can we be supervised by an LPC? So you have to have an MSW supervisor. It does not need to be a licensed social worker. It can be an MSW with at least 2 years experience, but it has to be a social worker. It can't be an LPC. Let's see, Cynthia says, where will we receive the MSW newsletter? Through an email? Yes, so the newsletter will go out weekly to the MSW listserv. It will also be posted on the School of Social Work's Instagram account as well as on our Facebook account. And there will be a link to it on our Twitter account as well. So we're trying to get you the information however you best access information. And again, that will go out weekly. I'm thinking it will go out on either Fridays or Mondays. I haven't yet decided, but it will be the same day each week. So either Friday or Monday. And I'll let you know of that when we're ready and get the semester started. Trudy says, if we have a placement in mind and they do not have an LMSW on staff, can we seek outside supervision? So yes, in some circumstances, we are able to work with the agency to provide a supervisor that is off-site, that's willing to provide supervision to you. And so I would just encourage you to both work with the place you have in mind and talk with them about what that might look like. And then also talk to Hector about what steps you would need to take in order to get something like that approved, since it's a little bit different than the norm. Let's see. Are we allowed to do our field placement hours at our job? I work in the mental health field. So there are some circumstances where you would be allowed to complete your placement hours at your place of employment. There are some restrictions about that. You can't double dip your hours, so you can't say, get paid for your job and then also count those hours toward your internship. You also need to be in a different department and have a different supervisor. There's an agreement form on the field website that you and your supervisor would sign as you're establishing those parameters. But yes, it is a possibility given those different restrictions. Let's see. If you are in the 16-month program, do you have to do a split field during that summer, or could you do a block field during the fall of 2020 as an option? That's probably a better question for your advisor. I know that in general, we really want you to stay with your cohort and do what your cohort is doing. That said, I understand that, sometimes you have extenuating circumstances that make that a necessity. So what I would say is reach out to your advisor and talk through that possibility with your advisor and what that might look like in terms of your course prerequisites and how that might impact those. Let's see, for the 12-month cohort, what do we do if a course we need for the fall already has a wait list or is full? So we are working through those wait lists right now. I would, if you are not registered for that particular course, you need to reach out to your advisor and let them know that you have not been able to register for the course because it's full or there's a wait list, and your advisor can help you get situated, and we may need to open another course. And so your advisor would send you the section that you would need. Let's see. If I have some graduate level LPC classes, are they transferable? Typically not. There are always exceptions. So Sherry, if you want to send me the courses that you've taken so that I can look at them, I am willing to look at them. I will say that typically we do not accept courses from other degree programs because the MSW and the LPC license are kind of pretty different, but especially at the advanced level. But I am happy to look at them and give you a for sure answer on that. Sonia says, does it have to be a mental health hospital? I work in a hospital and we have an LMSW, but we send the patients to a mental health hospital if needed. So because your focus is mental health and substance abuse, your advanced placement will be focused on mental health and or substance abuse. So many acute care hospitals have a mental health unit, an acute care mental health unit. And so we do have lots of students that are placed in those types of units. We also have students that are placed in outpatient mental health clinics and that sort of thing. But yes, your placement is going to have to focus on mental health and or substance abuse, depending. Let's see, do you guys place us or is it our job to find the placement? So again, that depends on if you are local in the DFW area. If you are local here, we have a lot of established placement opportunities and we can place you with an agency. If you are not local to DFW, then the responsibility falls on you to establish your placement. Although we do have a number of established placements across the state, and so it may be possible for you to do a placement with an agency who is already affiliated with us. And your advisor can give you, your field advisor, Hector, can give you more information about the established placements that we have in your area. Erica says, I was only emailed 4 classes that I needed to register for, and online it stated I already completed 12 credits. Does that mean I was waived a class? Erica, that sounds more like a individual type question. If you want to email me, I can try and talk with your advisor about that, but really your advisor is the one that would be able to answer specific questions about course registration. Are there other questions for me? It looks like we ended just about right on time, which is great. I appreciate you guys bearing with me as I tried to navigate through the different internet sites. I hope that you found this helpful. I just want to reiterate how excited I am that you guys have chosen UTA and our MSW program. I'm really proud of our program, and I am really excited about getting to know all of you. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I am looking forward to getting to know all of you and really connecting with you in different kinds of ways as you begin the program. So thank you again for participating. This session was recorded and you will be able to access the recording so that you can rewatch it to your heart's content. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to a great fall semester. So thanks, everybody.